who's president, coming to the village. I mean, those of us who having a team that high, or go to our villages or our mothers' villages. Like I was in Kwaipa, Bon County, where my late mother came from, and they were so happy that just as a presidential aspirant, I went there, the whole town turned out, nobody wanted to farm. So if the president were to go there, they would be very happy. Okay. In fact, they have a small school that they built for themselves with sticks, and I hope you can go and turn things around for them so that they can be happy that a child from the village born a great leader. Okay.
Let's go to this. Where is the political structure that you intend to make progress on, and the platform that we elect?
The Liberian People's Party is an old party. It was one of the parties that was formed during the military regime back in 1983 or 4. And it was formed by a group of advocates, Dr. Abel Sawyer, to put from the community, all these people who have been advocating for change. So the broom symbol that we have was developed in 1979 when Sawyer was running for the city mayor of Monrovia. It was suit Monrovia of corruption and all of that. So but we have a 10-point agenda for better Liberia. Okay. Yeah, that was well thought out and developed, and it is transformative. Every item on the agenda is so important. I don't intend to go through all 10. I'd like to talk about 4. Okay. And the 4 are the ones that are resonating all over the country. They are life-changing. For example, we look at the health situation. I find that according to Ministry of Health report, pregnant women die so much in this country. And according to World Health report, Liberia is among the 10 countries in the world that report the high incidence of death among pregnant women. And then we are among the countries with high infant mortality as well, children below the age of 5. And what many people don't mention, but based on our observation, old people die a lot because, this country doesn't have social security for old people. Not many people have work history, and government has no provision for taking care of old people. Yet they are now working, they cannot go to the hospital and pay. So one item, I call it 4 major projects for changing Liberia's story. One, that pregnant women go to hospital free, government hospital and clinics free of charge. Women, people under the age of, children under the age of 5 will go to hospital free of charge. Old people from 65 years old up until they pass will go to hospital free of charge. Now, many people will say, but government hospitals and clinics mean nothing. Even JFK, that is the biggest clinic, biggest hospital, you go there, they give you prescriptions and go across the road to a lucky pharmacy. So what are you telling us? To go and get a prescription? I said, no. When I become president, all government hospitals and clinics will be number 1. They will be better than private hospitals and clinics. And anything I tell you, I'll tell you how. How? As president, I will take a surprise visit to J.J. Johnson Hospital in Cape Town. And I say, I came for complete medical checkup. And they tell me, Mr. President, we don't have A, B, C, D. I will dismiss the head of the hospital and turn it over to police file to account for what government had budgeted and put in the hospital. Because before going out, talk to the Minister of Finance. Have you disbursed the money meant for the hospital? And I get it, and you tell me a different story, or have you dismissed and turn it over to police for prosecution, for investigation and prosecution. Next day I'll be in Bogeza Clinic. And the next time I'm in Rabosport. I go 2 months, I will be on this as surprise visits all over. And every time I ask people in the towns and villages, you think if 10 persons are in jail for stealing government medicine and for not accounting for the equipment in the hospital, anybody will steal anything from the hospital? The answer usually is a resounding no. Why is this important? If a clinic or hospital, if a government clinic or hospital is not good for the president, they are not good for any citizen. Presidents are not presidents for themselves. They are presidents for the citizens.
One would say you are the president, you deserve it. The country should be put in a deed to send you out of the country to get treatment.
No. I think my country becoming #1 in everything.
Okay.
I want the citizens to love their country. The way citizens love their country is dependent on how government takes care of its citizens. Prefer your citizens. On another topic, I would say, look, that's why, America, Ghana, all the countries that the citizens love them. I would give preferential treatment to Liberians in everything, including awarding contracts and all of that. I will not be a president on another topic where Liberians will be doing subcontracts for major contracts given to other people. It is other people who should be awarded subcontracts. Liberians should feel superior in their country. Where else can they be? Like I said, I will provide jobs because on day one I will issue an executive order. No government ministry or agency should purchase foreign-made furniture like this, so that our carpenters can make money and improve on their production. I don't even agree with the policy before on the government that 25% of the budget should be spent on Liberian entrepreneurs. No. They should get 100%. If anything, maybe 75%. This is a country called Liberia with Liberian citizens. They should be given preferential.
Where will you get the money from?
When we stop corruption and cut down waste in government, there is money, and this is a rich country. There's no question about that. And we talk about that later. But I talk about food projects, I talk about health area.
Yeah, let's talk about
now, the second one is education. I have traveled all over the country and I say this with a high degree of credibility. There's no country that I've not been to so many towns in. So I just sit and call me, Bakedu, I step in Bakedu in Lofa, I step in Nabreda, in Kipma, and you ask children, what are you doing? School is on. My pa says, you get money to send me to school. My mother says, she didn't get money to send me to school. Why should that be? Under my administration, every child will go to school free from kindergarten to 12th grade. No child will be left behind. It is an obligation under Article 6 of the Constitution that the government has the obligation to educate all Liberian children and to eliminate illiteracy. So it's dereliction of duty by the government. No child should be left behind. So every child will go to school from kindergarten to 12th grade. Their pencils, their pens, their copybooks, their textbooks, the food they eat will be provided by government. It is happening in many other countries. Then the next thing would be free trade school for all Liberian children in 15 counties. We'll open free trade schools in 15 counties. Why do I say this? I go all over the country and only two things I see. The young men are in a gold mine and they're riding motorbikes. And it is tough. I was in Philadelphia, Grand Crew the other day, and I said, you cannot ride motorbike until you're 40 years or your bike will be aching. A young man put his hand on and said, you are making a mistake, you're going too far. I'm 30 years old, I've been riding motorbike for 3 years, and this time when I even make my own appointment with people at 6 o'clock, I will come for you. It's hard for me to work up from there. So it's a tough job. And so we'll do that. So if you're a mechanic, you're a carpenter, you're an electronic technician, you're a tailor, you can sit right in your own town and make money. So we need to do that, to find alternatives for young people. And a lot of young people in this country have no means. So they only ride motorbike, keke and all that for a living. They go to the gold mine. By the way, I was in one gold mine in the area the other day, and 5 of the gold miners died from landfall. They just, they were in the hole and they died. And then ITI, the same thing happened there the other day. I'm talking about 6 persons on one trip. So many of them died in the gold mine because it's a tough job. The other thing I want to do is to eliminate illiteracy in 2 years. Why do I? How am I going to do that? Is a question.
That's what I wanted to ask you. How are you
going
to do that?
So everything I say I will do, I thought about. So we'll give stipends to junior high students, to high school students, and to college students where they have colleges. Stipend every month. And they will be required to teach at least 10 illiterate persons in your community after school. So you're a 7th grader, you come from school, you teach 10 persons in your community. There's a supervising teacher who is monitoring so that you get your stipend at the end of the month, your recess money. And I believe that in 6 months, some people will know how to read and write their name, they will know numbers. Why is that important? The whole world. But if somebody sends you a text message and says it's a secret, it cannot be secret because you show it to someone.
Is that time not too short?
No, 2 years. You see?
Some would say you are just stating that period because you want to be in this position. But realistically, is it not too short?
It is not too short. I'm an adult literacy teacher by training.
Okay.
In 1981, I was trained in Ethiopia. The people who are not going to school are so anxious to learn more than the young people who are of regular age. It's easy to teach them. That is my experience. Alright? So it's not short.
Okay.
But what we intend to do is to employ college graduates full time to deploy them into towns that don't have schools at all.
Okay.
Alright. And they will teach everybody in the town full time. I strongly believe that will work. Look, I was in Buchanan in Fantiton. I said, if somebody sends you a text message, I said, for example, I send you $200 and say that's secret, you will show it to someone. And if the person is crooked, they might even take your money. One woman said it happened to me. They put a call, you said direct. They came here, when they went by, they sent me money. I heard my phone ring, clang, so I showed it to one boy to read. The boy said, oh, the people who left from here the other day, they said they already finished reaching Monrovia. My money that was inside, he went and cashed it and took it. Different time I asked somebody that said, oh, somebody sent you money, you got your money? He said, no. He said, I don't know the boy. Another lady in a town called a supermarket in Bapulo told me her own daughter took her, somebody sent her 15,000 Liberian dollars, and her own daughter took $10,000 of that money and gave her only 5,000. She couldn't contest it because she couldn't read the text message. When that person was coming to visit the village, then the girl said, "Man, I need to confess to you. The last time that 15,000 they sent you, but I took 10,000." And she said, if I could read and write, that one will not come to happen to me. So I support your program, Councilor Gongloe. We need for our eyes to be open for to learn to read and write. So we say we can do it in 2 years, and it's all laid out. The next project that I have is road. Look, I don't know whether many of you saw it, but growing up in Tapeta, I never heard one day that the road from Zwedru to Tapeta cut off one day in the rainy season, September or whatever. I never heard about road cutting off. Even when I came to Monrovia, I never heard about road cutting off between Banga and Vonjama. It's a new phenomenon, and it's based on dereliction and duty by government. It is not good to get rid of old practices that worked. The roads were not paved, but in 1979, I left from Cape Palmas in July during the rainy season, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was in Monrovia at 9 o'clock. The roads were not paved. But this is what happened. Under Tubman, Toba, and Doe, there were public work yards in all of the counties that had yellow machines that were used to maintain the roads, to rehabilitate the roads during dry season. And the roads were good, they laid the gutters and everything. The rain, the roads were easily drained, and the roads were good. That's how we're getting food from Lofa here, from Nimba here. People were making money. I had a terrible experience on this trip to Southeast.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Kilipo Kanwiken. I don't know how many of you people have been on that road, but there's a town called Kilipo Kanwiken. In normal time, and I've been on that road many times, it is 20 to 30 minutes to reach Bepo Kanweken, which is the main Kanweken that people know, is a bigger town. I had an event. My event in Kilipo Kanweken was over at 5 o'clock. The next event was in Bepo Kanweken at 6 o'clock. I left thinking people waiting for me.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be surprised. We reached Bepo Kanweken at 1 a.m. in the morning on a 30-minute route.
Everybody is tired.
Everybody had gone to bed. Why? Because as soon as we left Kilipo Kanweken, first we got to a mall. And if anyone saw me throwing shovel, I was not joking. We all had to put our hands to make the road. So I opened the water drained, and then we put a lot of rocks that they had brought for our cars to go. That's the easiest part. By the time we got ahead, there was another mall that was as long as from here to maybe ERW Junction that had over 20 cars stuck in the mall, tankers, trucks, all of that. And even though we had a Toyota Land Cruiser Jeep that is 4x4, the other car is good, it's Sequoia and a pickup, we couldn't leave. And it was around 12:30 that our cars, in fact, I crossed around 6 o'clock, went across waiting for my car to come. By 9 o'clock, I was sleeping. I picked leaves, I put the leaves on the ground, and I started sleeping on the leaves. At 12 o'clock, 12:30, they came over there and said, oh, our cars are crossed. But I remember there was a lady in a car that came from Monrovia, well loaded, a pickup, and was very sick and needed to get to keep up with it. So I said, we can't leave this sick woman behind. We have to go and haul that car from the mall. It is the hauling that car by the Toyota Land Cruiser Jeep that got that Toyota, the 4-wheel, everything got damaged. I spent more than $1,000 to get it repaired. But that's the difficulty on the road. I lied and then thinking and say, Bar Road is a threat to peace and security. Because if you have, I said, suppose Africa was to attack us, I will move through there. And number two, if you get sick in Kilipo Kanweken, the bigger thing is Bepo Kanweken, and the ambulance takes you and come with speed, it reaches that mall, you'll die right there. So it is an impediment, it undermines peace and it undermines human security.
But Gongloe, how do you reconcile this? This government, its president has been known as Barrow Medicine. He's been known as one who have built more roads than any other president that exists in this country. How do you reconcile that?
Well,
from your recent travel,
Barrow Medicine for dual community, and the community where the bishops live along the Roberts Field Highway. They can testify to that. But all over Liberia, no. The people are Lofa County, Bapolo, all the areas I've traveled. That statement is so false. And number two, I have said publicly that his statement that he has built more roads from J.J. Roberts to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is so untrue. What is true is that from J.J. Roberts to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, he has built more private homes for himself than all of the presidents of Liberia combined.
I want to ask you, with your track record, don't you think you are morally upright to be a politician with the history of other politicians who have gone and wine and dine with what they say when they were not in those positions? What do you think about that?
I don't think that is true. David Park in the 1990s, he was working at the American Embassy as USIS director. He said, there are more good people in Liberia than bad people. And I believe that to be true. And all they need is a good president. We need one good example of Jerry Rawlings in Ghana. We need one good example of Sarisi Khama in Botswana. Sarisi Khama was the first president. He set a good tone in terms of being honest. And because of that, that country is a landlocked country with 70% of the land area covered by desert. Only 30% of the land is there for growing food. And they export meat to South Africa by good management of just 30% of the land. It's a landlocked country, no sea coast. They have only diamond in our country. Yet Botswana is counted among the richest countries in Africa because it is also listed by Transparency International as the least corrupt country in Africa. And that is making them to move forward. It's a country with less than 3 million people, but they're doing well. At independence in 1966, The budget of Botswana was $3 million. By 2006, the budget was $4 billion from effective management of the income generated from its mineral resources. We in Liberia always say we are a rich country and we are poor by choice because our soil is fertile. Under that fertile soil, we have diamond, we have gold, we have iron ore, we have uranium, and many, many other resources. We cannot naturally qualify as a poor country. But on election day, we go and choose poverty by electing people who don't have the competence and who don't love our country, dishonest people. So we, Liberian electors, choose poverty over wealth. And when they elect somebody like me, then they will begin to enjoy the natural wealth, that God has put here.
Let me ask you this very important.
And I haven't finished my full projects yet.
Yeah, you certainly do that because it's absolutely important. You hear from a vote-rich county, Nimba. Are you heavily dependent on Nimba with the vote there? And are you also preaching tribal politics?
No, I'm not true. It's against all that I stand for. I'm not tribalistic. I've never been. That's why I cut across the country from American Liberians to the Crown tribe and I mentioned Crown for a purpose that during the military rule and during the war, there was a conflict between the Guiomano people on one side and the Crown people. But look at me. I defended 18 grandchildren, who were in jail under President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in 2013 for free. And some of my best friends in this world in Liberia are from Grand Jeddah. They even, because of my relationship with Grand Jeddah, they call me Puliyo in Crown, which means savior. All right. On this trip, I slept in Paul's Town, which is my adopted town in Grand Jeddah. But what I really enjoyed that I slept in Tucson, the home of Samuel.
The hometown was former President Samuel Kanyako.
Right. I arrived at 7:30. The event was over around 9 o'clock. They said to me, I said, Councilor Gongloe, you sleep there? I said, yes, we'll sleep. My delegation slept there and they danced all night. They cooked by 11 o'clock. My delegation ate food left over. No, I cut across the country. In Maryland, they call me Wahamu, which means bless us. In Grand Cape Makane, they call me Tunia, stay with us. So I cut across the country.
How do they call you Bon County in Lofa?
Bon County, they are my uncles.
Okay.
They are the home of my mother. So they love me there so much. The Bon County people, the Bon County people really love their sisters and daughters' children more than their own. And my uncle, the late Chief Lumo, told me one time, I invited from college to get 3 goats. They have big program in Kuiper, Arabian Zawinta. I said, why you love me like that? I said, your sister child are your blood, your daughter child are your blood, but your wife children may be your natural children, but they are mostly your legal children. You say, your client chief, you say, when your wife gets virtue and go home and spend 10 years, 15 years, she bring 3, and when you all settle your differences, then she bring 3 children. Those children are your children. And no man will put foot to say that are your children because you marry your wife. So our children are our legal children. Sometimes they are our natural children. But our sister children, our daughter's children are our blood. We don't joke with that.
Okay.
And then they told me in Bonkan, you see, we don't know Georgia, we don't know Opon. We voted for Opon because of Chua, our niece.
Wow.
That's what they told me in Bonkan. So then, when I want to tell them, people say, my friend, I'm going to run for the president. I say, oh, support you. You are our nephew. We supported because he carried our niece. But nephew running for presidency, we support you.
Like my colleague asked the question, how much are you depending on Nimba County?
Nimba is my home. And I depend on them largely. They love me. They say, if the house does not sell you, the street will not buy you. I met with the Nimba elders in 2021 December in LPP under the gavel of the doyen of the paramount chiefs of Nimba called Chief Franklin Toy. And he called elders from the 9 districts. They met in Secretary and put to them. I had gone to Bon County, and Bon County both surprised me. I met them on December 3rd, 2021, and say, plenty of people around the country want me to be president, and I think I want to go for it. What do you both think? They said, we'll support you. Go for it. And then when we had that conversation about you and all that, then the next day, December 3rd, because I needed to answer the petition December 4th. December 3rd, I met the elders in Sackley, the central town of Nimba. And the elders from the 9 districts were there. And then I told them, this is what I've heard. I've been to Bon County. And before the Nimba elders could answer, I just saw the Bon County elders coming through the door. I didn't know they had followed me. They came through the door. And they said, we have told our nephew to run. We'll support him to run. But we came to you for our in-laws, because my mother was married in Nimba. We came to you, our in-laws, to tell him to accept to run.
Okay, so, you will continue without some commercial commitment, please.
Windows Incorporated has introduced a free Wi-Fi connection for as many customers betting on the app and website. You can play and win at our various center now available with free Wi-Fi. Namely, you join the POS, Red Light POS, Pueblan POS, EWA POS, Airfield POS, Corner Street POS, Johnson Street POS, Claratown POS, GC Garden Street, and GC Broad Street. Let's get started. Who are any of the listed POS or GC or its surrounding about 100 meters from the POS or GC? Open your Wi-Fi and search for Windows Play Wi-Fi. Sign to the Wi-Fi network and enjoy betting with our website and app for free. What are you waiting for? Windows Wi-Fi is fast and free. Bet on sports and slot games easily. It's the perfect way to stay in a game with high-speed access. It's easy to do. Stay connected all day and win big too. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Free Wi-Fi is for real. Download our app or visit our website. Place your bets and win big. Wow! Windows Wi-Fi is fast and free from 18 years and above.
Yes, indeed. This is the morning ride, and we pay host to Presidential Aspirant Councilor Tiawan Gongloe this morning, sharing breakfast with us on this edition of the morning ride, National Fast and Prayer Day.
And some of you following us, let me come 1 minute. Some of you following us can also go on the Facebook page at the search handle, K News Online, and you also be a part of the program. Put in the comments your suggestion or opinions here with the Honorable Councillor Tiawan Gongloe. Councillor Gongloe, before you go forward, why have you not announced your running mate? And if your running mate will be announced, will it come from Nimba County?
Again, legally it can.
Okay.
By constitution.
Yeah, who is the running mate?
I will announce them, but we set up a committee. A committee came on criteria, and now I told them when I approved the criteria, I said, we're giving the name of the person whom the cap fits. So
now, who is that person?
They haven't given it to me.
You were discussing something just
so in Nimba, in Sackley, then they did something, the chairman of the committee, Chief Franklin towards it, that our in-laws say they support their nephew and they want us to tell our son to run. When I say one elder from Sackley got him and say, we agree. Chief Franklin towards it, we agree. Let's talk one by one. District 1. What District 1 elder say? District 1 elder say, we agree. Moses, that's the assistant, is blind. Moses, write that person name and the telephone number. I don't want somebody to change on me tomorrow. District 2. Up to District 9, where I come from, y'all must know. So, it's okay. Since we agree now, Councillor, you're our son. We agree with your uncles that you should run, we'll support you. So we take, and the Bon County people of cola to the Nimba people, say we eat the cola, we have, and then accepted the cola. After that, I've not seen this before, but the elders from Bon County took cutlass, brand new cola that they are not being used before. And it says, since you agree now that you will support your son to run our nephew, we give you the cutlass to clear everything in his way in Nimba County here. One elder got up and said, "You're here, our in-laws." What they are saying is, since Councillor Gongloe is the first of our sons to come to us to support him to run, then if any of our sons come subsequently, we should tell our son to wait for the next election. Otherwise, we'll be making our session, in front of our in-laws. So that was covered. And I trust the elders. I strongly believe that on the basis of that, and a lot of meetings I've had in Nimba. Nimba is where I visited more towns in Nimba than anywhere in Liberia. I've gone to 110 towns in Nimba. And I visited 2 major political towns in Nimba I consider politically important. The home of Jackson Abdo. Gongloe, I call it the political shrine of Nimba, because that's the town where the first son of Nimba came from and contested for the presidency. And then I went to Zuale. Zuale is the home of the late Thomas Kool FM, who, was also highly respected. In fact, I slept in Zuale. And so, see my trips around the country, I select, because I love history, I select some of the towns, deliberately. I went to Zuale, Kool town. I went to Gongloe, Jackson those town. I slept in Tucson, some of those towns. I also went to Pines Town, the late Thomas Wessian's town, the first vice chairman of the PRC. These for me are important historic towns, and it's important for the people to know that they are still, somebody in Liberia that because their sons are not around, that nobody will look at them. I look at them. So I've been to all of them. I've been all around, and I'm very, very happy about going. Everywhere you go to post it, you are the first presidential aspirant to come to our town. Even senatorial candidates send people here, they don't come.
Wow.
They say in Nimba, they say we have a presidential candidate coming to Sanikole, and sometimes they go to Kample, Bang, Saklipi, and Tapata. They don't come to Boudreaux. They don't come to Gabon.
Okay, President Gongloe, October 10 is just a stone throw from where we are now. There are a lot of names popping up in terms of wanting to contest the presidency, and you want those. Are there fear in your mind for who could be a tough opponent to you? Who do you think will give you a worth of your money in terms of being at the summit of the presidency?
When we started this conversation, I said, I'm not deterred by challenges. And I don't even see challenges in everything I try to do. So I've not given that any thought about who's the formidable force. No, I don't. Because George Weah is already behind. I mean, Southeastern Liberia will now vote for George Weah because it's as if, the level of deprivation there in terms of the violation of their freedom movement. It's not just between Kilipo Kanweken and Gwepo Kanweken, but all over Southeast. People don't move easily. And this is still dry season in Liberia. Think about August. Think about September. Think about July. It's going to be tough. In fact, I was told in Grand Judah that last year during the rainy season, in fact, as far as November last year, people were paying $30,000 to $40,000 per person to ride a motorbike to go to Ganta. How many people can afford that in a region that does not have so many economic activities? And I was saying that lying there across the mud going to Gwepo Kanweken, I thought about how viral undermines peace and security, but it also increases poverty. Imagine you have your planting farm in Webo, and you harvest your planting farm, and you want to come to Monrovia to sell your planting to make money, and you sure you will make money. So you borrow money from the shop owner in town and say, credit me money to charter one truck. I will pay your money next week. I'm going to sell my planting to Gorbachev. I said the truck law plan, I already made contract. I will pay your money. You get to that mud, and you spend 1 week in that mud. Your planting gets rotten. This is how it will increase poverty, because you come back home and you tell the man, oh, I'm sorry, my planting guy, you said, I have business, you got to pay my money. Whatever savings you have, you pay that, and if it's not enough, you start selling your radio, you start selling everything in your house to sell. In the end, you could be totally poor.
Okay.
You know, so
let
bad rule also promotes poverty.
Bad rule promote poverty. Let me ask you this question. To be frank, what policy you think that this president has executed that you love to speak to for the world to know?
One thing you can't take from him, he put his weight behind the Kamara law that repealed the 3 anti-speech laws. I drafted the Repeal Act in 2009 when I was still Solicitor General, because I've been a defender of all journalists in this country before going to government. And I said, I can't enforce this law. People have to write. In fact, that's why I chose to be Solicitor General. We got free Sanomo from under there was an underground jail at the place, and now the Sanomo, many other journalists. I said, we can't build freedom of democracy where there's no freedom of expression, where there's no disagreement. So, Madam President, she said, you want to make me Associate Justice of the Supreme Court? I said, I'm not looking for a job. I want transformation. I want to be the gatekeeper to make sure that freedom of expression is protected. So, I drafted that law and submitted it to her in 2009. And then, I don't know whether she submitted it, but I give credit to George Weah, President Weah, for submitting it in the first year of his administration. We have to be objective. He did it, and I think he put his weight behind it, and it passed. I know if he had kept it by now, it would have been difficult to submit it because people are now very critical of it. But it's good that when Euphoria was still there, that he submitted it. That credit historically goes to him. Can I be taken?
Yeah, I want to ask you quickly before we need to go to the land of recent.
And let me talk about my last thing for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
The last thing I want to talk about is I have a plan to transform Liberia from being a rice importer to a rice exporter. And my plan is to mechanize rice production by government supplying rice producing machines, Caterpillar tractors, and combine harvesters in the 15 counties to the farmers through the farmers cooperatives. And they will make large farms like Firestone, Cocoa, Kavala rubber and all that. And there will be rice in this country. But I'm not satisfied with that. I want to do something revolutionary. The military was created in 1908. The first called Frontier Force. From 1908 to now, we have not fought Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, and we'll never fight them for the next 1,000 years. But we pay the army salary every month. We buy them uniform, we buy them guns that they will never shoot at anyone. The end of war. So I have a war for the army to fight. I will declare war against hunger as president and order the chief of staff to take the entire army to war against hunger by producing not less than 100 acres of rice in each of the 15 counties. And I strongly believe that when the army is producing rice, and I say minimum, some could produce even 100 hectares, but I'm just saying minimum 100 acres. And when the military is producing rice and the farmers are producing rice, all of them using machines, price of rice will drop. There will be plenty of rice in the country. Our population is small. We'll be exporting rice and making $500–600 million from rice exportation, which we have the potential to do.
Okay.
With the recent, go ahead.
You been a student as well. Of recent, we have seen streams of protests from students, and even one of the city lawmakers was also involved into it at the University of Liberia. What's your take on that, and how you intend to address that? If you were the president of Liberia and that took place under your watchful eyes?
Well, I already said on the issue of Akara's grade that he bears full responsibility. The word honorable goes with a total comprehensive code of how you speak, how you walk, how you conduct yourself. And you are a role model to society. You cannot bring yourself to be a pedestrian. You can't go down in the gutters, and that's not how you. When people go low, you go high. So that was totally wrong. Now, student militancy has been there all over the world. I mean, you saw a few years ago the citadel of modern democracy, in fact, civilization, England. There was austerity, and the students started breaking windows, stores, and all that. I watch on television, CNN, I said, no, This sounds like a third world country, right? So normally young people respond to government the way governance is done in a way that old people don't. I've been there too. I was in. Oh, we're speaking today. It's April 14. I was on the street on April 14. I was attending the Linsu Congress in Kaduna, and me and Blossai, I think she's still archived. No, she former director of the archives. We're young. Till today, we call each other partners. We left the convention and came to participate in April 6th. And we were in the street. Many people were killed by us, but by chance we lived. But we were young. We won't do that today. We are young people. You know, they reacted. Say the price of rice is up. Oh, poor people will suffer. Even the military making $30 a month. I can beg a rice be $25. They will not happen. Our poor people will suffer. And then, of course, the government was justifying that, oh, then when we carry the price of rice up, people will make more farm. I don't care. The price of a bag of rice can be $100. When you're using cutlasses and hoe, you can't benefit from that because you can't really produce more than 3 clean bags of rice anyway, unless you change the mode of production, which I'm talking about right now today in our country, that when the cutlasses and hoe they're using, when we change the mode of production like America, like India, and other places, we too will be producing. And that's what government should have done instead of carrying the price of rice.
Okay, before we go to the lines, recently opposition political parties met at the Farmington Hotel, signing a document committing themselves to non-violent election come 2023. I'd love to know with that, and what's your relationship with other political parties in the opposition bloc?
We signed, we are cooperating on electoral issues that affect all of us.
Okay.
For example, I signed a document denouncing the census, that was a bogus census and should not be used for the electoral process.
Okay.
We signed it together at the Unity Party headquarters. All right. So we are doing that level of cooperation at this point, you know, on issues that affect the integrity of the electoral process. So we were represented in Farmington. I told my party chairman to represent me there because for me, going around the country to see the electorates was important. I am setting a new standard in politicking in Liberia. Now, politicking is not only for Monrovia and the capital cities of the counties. You have to go to the people where they are. I am going across monkey bridges. I'm crossing rivers.
Are you not afraid?
I am not afraid for Liberia. I am not afraid to take any risk for Liberia.
Okay.
Never. There's no risk too big for me to take for Liberia. I can measure 5 instances in my life that I could have died. One of them that are April 6th. One of them is coming from America, 1990, to come and be part of the interim government while I was sitting in New York, and several other reasons.
Thousands of Liberians usually refer to Senator Prince Johnson as the political godfather. Are you not afraid that you the storming block in getting the votes?
No, I'm not afraid.
Because all the time you people have not had a kind of smooth relationship.
No. You know, I don't have any personal relationship, personal differences with him. I uphold certain values that I advocate for and that I can never compromise on any condition. Like I always tell people, I will go into this election as Tiawan Gongloe, and when I come out of this election, I will still be Tiawan Gongloe. I don't want to be, whatever the result, I don't want to be looking for Tiawan Gongloe. Consistency is my asset. And I have nothing personal. Even Prince Johnson will never say that Councillor Gongloe has insulted him before or has said anything. In fact, we used to live in the same area behind the city hall up to 1985. Before, when I was in the law school, Prince Johnson was a lieutenant in the army and he was working on a joint security team at the Freeport of Monrovia right before Kool FM came. I know his entire family, his sisters, brothers, everybody. You know, I knew his late mother. So we grew up right behind the city hall. Kwame Clement, myself, current Associate Justice Baisi, were all behind the city hall there. I was in law school when the Kool FM thing happened, and that was the last time I saw Prince Johnson went to exile. So we don't have any history of conflict. We just have different views on national issues.
What's your take on the establishment of war and economic crime code?
My views are already settled.
And especially those who come in conflict with the law in our country.
I explained in NIMBA, and everybody agrees with me. Look, you can go to the battlefront and kill 10,000 people. That's not a crime. But when you leave the battlefront and come, you see a pregnant woman cooking a little food to survive during war, and you kill her, you have committed a crime. Now, who can defend that? You come and see people in the church, they're in the Lutheran church, and they are hiding.
Going for refuge.
And you're going for refuge in the house of God. And you come and kill them, and the blood is running in the street like river. Now, who can defend that? Those who are responsible for such action should not be held accountable. I don't know what human being in the world of sound mind would justify that. We are not talking about fighters. Fighters who are involved in the war, fighting war is not a crime. Rebel war, you can fight. So sometimes people misinterpret and say, Council Gongloe say everybody who fought in the war should be hurt. No, it's not everybody who fought that committed war crime. Okay. But those who were so cowardly, left the battlefront, some of them even ran away from the battlefront. And then they come see people trying to find food for themselves, and you kill armless people who have no harm. There can be no moral justification with that.
What's about corruption?
And I stand on the side of the victims and not the perpetrators.
Corruption.
I have this broom. We'll fight corruption. We'll fight corruption. That's the one thing that is keeping Liberia behind.
Okay.
We'll fight corruption. And the way we'll fight corruption, before taking my oath of office, I will declare my asset, I will publish it on the internet. And then when I become president, I will require anybody I appoint to first publish his asset in the newspaper and submit it to the Liberian Senate. Then I will put the salaries and benefits of all officials of government in the 3 branches of government. Chief Justice and Justices, Speaker, President, everybody will put their salaries and benefits on the newspaper, not a violation of the law. Article 15C of the Constitution says that the people of Liberia have a right to know about their government and its functionaries.
Are you not campaigning against yourself?
No.
Because those guys, they don't want to see this thing happen. Well, they want to be the big people in the country, enjoy themselves.
For the majority of the people. And the majority of the people are poor. There is no vote is by quantity, not by quality. The bishops can decide not to vote for me. But the ordinary people I'm going to who are suffering, I'm talking about changing their lives for the better, go vote for me.
Okay,
before we go to the lines, when you lost the election, or 2 or 10, will you still remain in Liberia? Or what next?
I have a law firm.
Okay.
What I love best to be a lawyer. And I built a very nice house in Gongloe, a 1-story building that I'm still I want to put a water tower there, so at least the water can run in the house. I want to make my home in Gongloe.
How expensive is that house? Because I've listened to some conversations, and you've been accused of not having nothing in your county, and you got nothing there to show people.
I don't like to boast, but I built a library and auditorium in Gongloe to the memory of Teacher Gongloe, my late father. I call it the Wilfred K. Gongloe Educational Resource Center. The auditorium takes 500 persons. My father was buried on the campus, and I said, this is an elementary and junior high school. Elementary school, I don't want the children to be seeing grave. So to cover the grave, so the stage, the grave has been covered by the stage. The only thing we put there, a plaque, here lies Teacher Gongloe. But I turned my father's grave into a usable thing for the community. The children don't know there's grave. So you have the library and auditorium with glass windows. It is like in Monrovia. Somebody say, why did you build this kind of thing? Yeah, I said, because I want glaze up in my hometown when I enter there to feel like I'm not missing anything in America.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the line.
So I have a 5-bedroom house there, and I only 1 bedroom. I have key for in Monrovia. The caretaker, I say, any stranger that comes in the town should sleep in other 4 rooms so that they can know that there are good houses in place.
Yeah, please go ahead.
But our in Botswana 2012. Our resources is here, people taking it. In Botswana, the resources that are the Dama, the gold, that the government taking it. But I don't hear from the councillor.
He mentioned Botswana. Thank you for joining us. Let's talk to other callers. You're live.
Good morning,
go ahead.
My name is Clement. Thank you, Councillor. This morning, Councillor has made my day. These are people that looking for the bureau, the leadership. The councillor still war, I think that bro be straight. Because first you have to declare an asset. Your asset, when the asset is going to play super. So the councillor, I can remember one history, you're working class now. Councillor was there on the one, diplomatic bishop. The most I was given to Councillor of Gongloe, you came back to purchase, you go back to the people, you say, well, the money that I can give was too much. For me, I would appreciate a great vote who vote for Councillor. Thank you.
Yeah, then I can't be tired. Let's talk to Peter Soya this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. And all I'm going to say is, all like you said, that's like a great move because we know what you stand for, you know what you can do and what you hope to do for the Liberian people. So I really want for the remaining countries so that we can go there in the town and villages and make sure that Liberians should see all what we preach around in other countries so that they can hear it. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me talk to Alex. Alex Momo, good morning.
When you say that my president, the people's president, if that's like the Dr. George Manawia, I have kind of fulfilled in like people, that's not true under the Gongloe. Do I love you? So my advice to under the Gongloe is when President we are second term is done with is the London Council will be with me our
Okay. You see, you disagree.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Wiki. How are you?
Can't complain. Go ahead. Good morning.
Yeah, this is Mohammed Tiawan. I'm calling from Carbon District 41 of the People Defenders. You know, my problem about the Liberian presidential candidate or the aspirants, they say a lot of things. When you give them that opportunity, you know, nothing they can do different from why they elected. So I want to ask Councillor Tiawan Gongloe. He has been in Liberia for so long, he served as a Labour Minister in the country before. What were the contributions that the ministry when the group was there, marginalized by foreign investors in the country? And all of the judiciary administration is there as a Labour Minister. What was the mechanism he put into place to protect the country and even the citizens around to become president for?
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Go ahead.
Calling for smell fish. Hello?
Paul, go ahead. You
are speaking. Please go ahead.
When that comes to the Gongloe, you need to know that the children are not going to school. He has spent 40 years in government. He has not made no impact in Liberia here. He wants to become the president for before Liberia. What thing Liberia people don't do before you want to do today?
Okay.
That's my question to him.
Okay. Let me talk to Wo Yida here. Good morning. No, add one.
No time.
Add one. Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Gongloe. Let's hear your response.
Okay, so somebody said I've been in government 40 years, not true. The first time I went to government was 1990 November, during the interim government I went with Dr. Ibn Sawyer. It was during that period that this person would talk about. He reminded me, because I was giving $4,500 to go as presidential envoy on behalf of President Sawyer for 20 days. I spent 10 days. When I came back, Francis Kappa is still living. When I came back, I returned $2,250 to the Ministry of Finance and say, I can't justify the 10 days money. And the minister said, but we've already taken the money from the treasury that you're per diem. I said, no, per diem is money that you use away from duty station. I've returned to my duty station. I cannot justify this. I was just about 32, 33 years old. So if that was my stand on corruption those days, I'm in my 60s now. So to his credit, he took the money, gave me receipt, and the next day he deposited the money at the National Bank and also sent the deposit slip to me, which was good, which was a good way, you know, as a student. Now, somebody said, what have I done? Let me go to Labor Ministry. The president said, what have I done for Liberian children? I was not in a position to carry on policies like that. But I just said I built a library and auditorium on the government school campus that my father was teaching in place of it. That's a little contribution as a private person that I can do to improving education. Now, the person who talked about what did I do at Labor Ministry, a good question. Because when I got to Labor, in fact, the question was asked when I was being vetted by the Senate. What will you do at Labor Ministry? I say I want to enforce the liberalization policy. Too many people are doing our jobs. I got there, I mobilized my staff, the 2 deputy ministers and everyone. We looked into that and first we called the different employees, the Lebanese community, Indian community. You employ Liberians. Afterwards, so many people in the street, you know, you're pleasing, but Liberians can steal, they are lazy, they are this. Okay, we'll give incentive for you to employ Liberians. So we met, we found out that the work permit fee for foreigners was $400 and had been that way for more than 10 years. So we decided to increase it. We increased it to $1,000 US. As soon as we did that, some employers who have 50 non-Liberians dropped it to 20 and give more jobs to Liberians because the money they were paying foreigners were more and they could employ 2 Liberians for each of the jobs. So a lot of Liberians got a job. I issued regulation number 17. And I just saw the Minister of Labor yesterday. I hope he's listening to me. Say, you still using my regulation? He said, well, that regulation is very good. It's helping. 2 things that regulation did. It increased Liberian employment and also brought a lot of money. It made Ministry of Labor and Economic Ministry. When the work permit fee of $400, the Ministry of Labor never used to collect more than $500,000. As soon as I introduced regulation number 17, some employers were still high-headed. They wanted to keep the price, and then you pay the $1,000. So, Ministry of Labor in 2010 made $6 billion United States dollars, and the government carried a banking window. So now, when they are budgeting, they can put how much is coming from Ministry of Labor. So that's what my policy did. All the young girls, young ladies you see in the supermarket as cashiers were not there before regulation number 17. It was regulation number 17 that replaced the Indians and Lebanese that were there with these young ladies. So that's what I did. Also, it was under my administration that the new labor law that is called Decent Work Act was completed, and I wrote a letter submitting it to the president. And it's a very good law, because before that law came, it was illegal for workers to strike. In that law, under Chapter 2, strike is a fundamental right, because strike is the only thing that workers union can use, at least to put a management in negotiating position. So that's the only tool, and that tool was not there before.
Somebody on the page is asking one tool kid, was asking, will you support a united opposition?
We are united on some issues, but we have to be realistic. All the political parties now have senatorial candidates, representative candidates, and it is something that requires discussion, horse trading, or party A, in we are united. Don't run in that county for Senate. Let this party carry this county. Everyone is out trying to get to the voters. I'm not sure whether people have the time for that detailed discussion on even writing a blueprint on how appointments will be in government, how government will be run. And already some senatorial and representative candidates have invested money, in the different political parties.
What if
then you have incumbents?
Yeah. What if your party will have to emerge with another party or a collaboration or a coalition, that you will support Kennedy being the president, the vice president, giving up your own quest for the presidency? Will you agree with that?
If they have the plans that I don't want to be president for presidency, serving up and down. I want transformation in Liberian people's lives. How many of the candidates you are heard talking about putting president's salary on the internet? Openness. I've not heard anybody say that.
Okay.
You know, we want openness of salary. I want a complete open government. And the reason I say when you minister and your people in your community know that they can go on a cell phone and find out your salary and benefit in 50,000 a whole year. In 2 months you start bidding 300,000. They will get on Kool FM on the radio. The man is stealing. He ain't reached that because the code of conduct says no, it is illegal for any official government, for the president down, to receive any gift above $250. So you can't be justified, my friend in Saudi Arabia sent me some money, or I inherited money from a great grandma. You are stealing, you know, and that naming and shaming can serve as a deterrent to corruption.
Councillor Gongloe, we want to say thank you for joining us.
We hope to have more of these interactions.
Sharing breakfast all this morning. It's a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll come next time so we can really talk about it.